Go talk.
Oh, I thought you were opening the show, David.
No, I don't open shows. I close them.
Oh, why? Why?
Wow.
Welcome back to the scene of the crime, where approximately 40 minutes ago, two men were completely murdered, raped, and not necessarily in that order.
Blood everywhere. There's
You
blood
were
everywhere.
all witnesses to this, and so we have come back to get your witness statements and see what you think. And we've brought a lot of friends with us. We hope we can hold up to 100 people in this program that we're using. So I'm not sure how many are here now, but it's a lot because there's a scroll button up here, and that's usually not there. But welcome everybody that's here. We have Dave and Steve obviously are back. Red's Rhetoric is back from and Sean are back from that. Well, Reds, how would you sum that up?
We're back from a really angry wank.
A shit show?
I like where you went with that.
So right.
So we are going to first very quickly get through the super chats that we.
Oh yeah, y'all got to do the super chats.
Yes, we have to do that real quick. So Steve is going to read those off very quickly, and then we will jump in and kind of sum up tonight's events.
Yeah, there's quite a few of these super chats, so bear with me. We're not going to be able to actually answer any of these, probably. We'll try, but I'm just going to read them off and go from there. Okay, because there's probably like 30. So anyways, Zero, the Shumalati approves of this debate station. Okay. Jammy, all this shit has already been debunked. Get to the goddamn motto. You Christians offering critical knowledge of salvation. Money goes to the producer. We'll make sure Dave gets that.
He's not angry.
That was supposed to be Team Cox. I was trying to go with an acronym.
I like where your head's at, though.
Oh, COOKS, Team Cox.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ken, beer money for having listened to this bullshit. Thank you. I'm drinking brandy, actually, but that works. Zero, waka, 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 waka. We have something for that, by the way. We're going to show you. Howsoy, I hereby nominate this opening to be the textbook example of, quote, how to do a cookie cutter straw man incredulous opening statement. We agree. Cookie.
Oh, somebody found that funny.
Okay, they're going to owe me weed money. Where's the model? That's what we've been asking all night. Where's the model? XY Kata. We're mentioned in the Bible. You can trust us.
Sure.
John, this has already been circumnavigated the globe from hilarity to frustratingly back around to hilarity. Cheers, Lyle and Deceived. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sweet heathen. They said they respect and are grateful for this platform. Then they turn around and insult you and the audience by not providing what they promised and instead throwing out the same old debunked claims. That's a good point.
I thought he was talking about us for a second.
No, that's she. She is female.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Don't ask me. I know that for details for sure, but whatever. Yeah. XY again. Working map that needs stimulation magic to work. Yep. Ken, for Godless Engineer to end this now.
Did you say stimulation magic?
Simulation magic. Yes.
I would be okay with
stimulation magic.
You know, we would actually let that theory go through. We wouldn't stop on that one.
Shadow Gaming. Why can't they just get a telescope and try it to see if even with the best telescope, if one ship will disappear, explain that or not. So, you know, we've said the same thing. We don't get it. You know, powerful telescope should be able to see over that curve. Norbatu. Oh no, here comes the butt whooping. You could have said ass whooping. We're okay with that.
So we respect
demonetized.
Your
Yes. Insidious vids. Financing the lie and furthering the lie and deceive agenda. Scary Illuminati donation. By the way, you're not supposed to admit your Illuminati when you pay us or give us a super chat because then obviously it shows that we're getting donations from.
We have to report it for taxes.
Yeah.
So
it's a separate category on the IRS thing too. It says Illuminati shill funds.
Right.
Jar Jar Blue. # Team Cunt.
Yes.
Team
You
Cunt.
made it, guys.
You're on your team, Reds.
What did that stand for again? Christians United under the New Testament?
Yeah.
No, Christians under New Testament, or cunt for short.
How is that not a thing already? I feel like that's a thing.
Well, now it is.
I'm gonna
Now it is a thing.
Making progress on these things. Jar Jar, the laughing is making my belly hurt from all this stupid. Yeah, dumpster fire. But I got to tell you, I don't think that was a dumpster fire. I think that was actually the first time two people actually come on and at least tried to present something. Horrible as it was,
Tried.
it's definitely superior to what Jeranism had. So,
Barely.
well, we're talking a marginal thing, which is still infinitely superior to Jeranism. So, Jade, remember, guys, for whatever reason, only flat Earth picture and videos are real. Hail Santa, yes Santa.
Hell, Santa.
Hell, Santa.
Are you sure they're not dyslexic? They might be dyslexic.
Santa, it's Santa, right?
Might be dyslexia.
Norbatu, GE, I feel like you're ready to explode. Yeah, I think his head was about ready to explode. Zombie, crack plus lead paint chips equal flat earthers. That's how we think they came about as well.
That's an interesting theory.
I would just like to say that Gallows Engineer, now you know what I felt like when I had to deal with Jaren as a mod.
Kyle, interesting hypothesis.
Yes.
Yes.
I hypothesize they are glue sniffers.
Oh, I'm sure that flat earthers ate a lot of paste in kindergarten.
Probably.
Ken, GE beer money again. Russian friend, I don't know how to pronounce you, but it is in rubles, so I'm sure it's Russian. Plus his name isn't Russian. Can't get hand off my face.
I was getting ready to agree with him, but he went to face.
Why your hand somewhere else right now? I don't want to know.
Damn,
You're gonna hang out with a bunch of guys. I get it.
Exactly.
Ansgard, I love this one. Wants provable proof. LOL. I thought the same thing. What is provable proof? I don't know what that means. Zombie, I shaved my balls for this, dude. We all did that today. Come on, that's how you just get prepared for this.
You're in good company, Zombie.
Yeah,
good
we all make sure we manscape prior to these kind of shows.
Well, we shaved our balls, but not our faces.
Well, normally somebody else will do it for me, but whatever.
Continue, Steve. Continue.
By the way,
Steve.
Reg, your work has been sloppy lately. I got that little curly. You know.
Continue, Steve.
Hang on. Steve, are you saying my work has been sloppy?
Uh-oh.
Well, not the sloppy the way I like it.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Steve, hang on, hold that thought.
Thank you. Ooh, that kind of tickled me, actually. Thank you, Reg. Thank you.
The thought of Reds and Steve shaving each other's balls just made me sick right now.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
I got a question about
the
that.
worst possibility of the simulation theory. No, I don't want him to have any questions on that. Don't ask, don't tell. Thing.
Well, let him ask.
No,
Let him ask
I was. It's about the Earth and mowing lawns.
Okay.
So technically, whenever we mow a lawn on our wonderful round globular Earth, is that technically shaving our ball?
It would be
Yes.
A blue ball. Yes.
blue ball. Yeah.
Shaving the old blue ball.
And I'm telling you, when it releases, it really releases. That's
Steve,
like,
continue.
Retro, I have no words for this, but I can't stop watching. That was for everybody involved.
That's how I feel
1,000
right
plus
now.
people watching said that exact same thing. So,
That's how I feel right now.
Sandring, I'm going to give myself a bloody nose from all the face palms. You cannot navigate using their map. Yeah, trust me. I think Red's hit the nail on the head when he said if anybody tried to use one of their maps to actually try to navigate a course on a ship, you're going to be lost at sea.
By the way,
Horribly lost.
we're coming out with non-sequitur branded oven mitts for you guys who have problems face palming. Stay tuned.
Oh, thank fuck.
Speaking of which, I wonder where Strike is with my oven mitt.
Shipping
Well,
issues.
he figured you didn't need one because of that flesh cover or that bacon covered flashlight.
It's really hard for pugs to box up things and ship them.
Yeah, they got little stubby arms. Come on.
Right.
Gage, I just want to point out that Bullinator is doing an excellent job. We agree.
Here.
Yes.
I couldn't have asked for a better job. XY, can simulated entire world can't render stars high. I said the same thing, by the way.
You got an echo from somebody.
Echo.
Hang on, no, it's a guy by the name of David. Mute if you're not talking.
Dave, can you mute? Yeah, by the way, I said the same thing. I'm like, here's God creating this simulation theory for whatever reason, and yet he can't get the altitude of the clouds right. Obviously, he sucks at CGI and rendering. So,
Well, Steve, remember, according to George Lujack, that God created the planet and then found that he had a bunch of stars he needed to count. So
yeah,
he wasted 4 billion years counting every star.
I guess when you're an infinite being, you can't do it at once. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cookie Cutter for Bullinator. Thanks for producing a great show. Norbetu, GE. I need a heathens in my life. Jar Jar, if the amount of stars you see is based upon your elevation, why do they claim the stars disappear as you rise in elevation? Wouldn't you see more?
You would think.
Kaiser, please flush these turds.
We did.
Zombie, no flat Earth model has been presented. Mark, they know a flat Earth.
Horrible feedback.
They know a flat Earth map that comports to reality is impossible, so they resort to pure woo and blend reality. This debate is pointless. What do? Okay, I got a question. I love you guys all, and I love that people watch this, but I want to know. Maybe you can do as a poll. How many of you actually expected them to bring an actual model that worked?
That was my question too. Who actually expected it?
Nope.
So I don't know why there'd be disappointment there.
I
Have no expectation. Can't be
I expected them to bring a model. I just expected it to be a model that was shit.
When you start out with old school David and Goliath clips, then you know that you are fucked royally.
It could have been worse. It could have been like one of those old pokey Gumby things where remember that episode with David and Goliath? That could have been that one.
I'll tell you honestly though, I there was a part of me that expected, because they were so nice at the beginning. They were like overly, and it's weird when you do this kind of thing with like Steve and I, because usually people are a little bit confrontational. So after they're nice and we do the intro, I'm sitting there thinking, man, I bet they've got some kind of like big fuck you to me and Steve or Reds and Sean, or they're gonna like porn bomb us or something. So I'm bracing myself as soon as that video starts.
No, they were cool. I mean, they got frustrated toward the end because they were getting challenged, and of course they didn't have the answers that Sean and Reds were asking. But anyways, almost done with these. Kyle looked like a too. I don't know what this means, but Kyle looked like a too cool.
What?
I think it just meant Kyle looked cool.
Oh,
I think it was your wife.
Always looks too cool.
Yeah.
It was the wife beater.
Keep going.
KB.
No, I don't mean with the questions. I mean with the flattery.
You've claimed twice that these liquids are absolutely flat. Let's zoom in. Are they flat? Does this from your own presentation disclaim your idea that water doesn't curve? And we'll get into that whole difference between flat and curve again. Ken, kudos to the flat Earth side for being gracious losers. I don't think they really were gracious losers.
The definition of a gracious loser is not somebody that goes, I just obliterated you, and is completely wrong about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like they were
losers, perhaps, but
they were under
like
the delusion that they won. That's
like Goliath getting up after getting hit with that rock by David and going, I kicked David's ass. Did y'all see that?
I kick your ass.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's still like the Black Knight kind of thing. All right, two more. Young.
The flesh wound.
Globe wins. Fatality. Flawless victory. And last one. If flat Earth is stupid, why can't you stop talking about it? Because it's stupid.
Right.
It's entertaining because it's so fucking retarded. I mean,
There's actually been a couple in this chat for super chats that you missed.
I got to refresh this.
Yeah, and I have a question for Reds. This is and Sean, if you want to answer too, but I saw probably the greatest argument for why the Earth is not spinning, and so I want to see if you guys can answer this for me, because if you can't answer it, I'm afraid I'm going to have to admit that we are not on a spinning ball universe. So if I want to go to the Caribbean, right, and let's say I have a helicopter, if I fly up about 10 feet in my helicopter and just hover, why won't the Caribbean eventually come to me?
Sean, this is a tough one, man.
Because the atmosphere is the medium in which you are traveling, in which you are actually, generating lift from. If that medium has a 1-to-1 speed ratio to you, then that means that you will be rotating with the Earth, because the atmosphere rotates with the Earth. It's a little thing called friction.
How much did
No, man, you just pretending like atmosphere exists, dog. You don't have no proof that atmosphere exists.
You think that? I mean, how do you demonstrate that we're breathing something? I don't see it.
I bet you think gravity exists too, don't you? Huh? I bet you
NASA
do.
pays you well to put out that
gravity.
All right, we got 3 more super chats. Ned, I didn't even watch the show itself, and I know no model was presented. Ned, you are psychic. And Brandon, how does the flat Earth money taste better than each other? Depends. And last but not least, Sweet Heathen, always bringing protection to the NonSequitur Show, and among other places to bring protection.
You love her.
I love Sweet Heathen. Yes, Sweet. She's one of my favorites.
She come in. Come in.
She tried to come in last time, and all of a sudden she just left, and she said something like it didn't work or something.
Message us. We'll give you the link.
Ashley, if you want to come in, I'm not doxing her. People know.
So
I have a question, if I may.
Oh,
You may.
Yeah, please.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello from Mexico.
Hello.
Don't worry, I'm one of the good ones.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, mi amigo? It's been a long time since you've been around.
Have you paid for the
I
wall
talk
yet?
to you on Twitter all the time.
Have you paid for the wall yet?
For the
yeah, you need to send us pesos, man. Pesos for the wall.
I sent it through Western Union. You didn't get it?
Well, we're on the East Coast.
All right, now I know he's a plant. Now,
Our guy in charge.
Okay.
No.
So what's up, Jose?
Okay,
How you been?
I have a question because I hate you all so much for introducing me to so much flat Earth talk.
We try.
But sincere question: is there a model, or not a model? Is there a map of flat Earthers from the southern hemisphere where they put Antarctica at the center? Like where the North Pole usually is there like
I
and
think
the wall
so, yeah.
Yes, it is a southern it's a southern alt-azimuthal map. Yes, they do exist. You can actually make an alt-az map from any location. It just puts your location in the center is all it does.
And I'll tell you guys, you think that flat Earth is as bad as it gets, but it's not, because what we're about to do to you guys this month, we have 3 individuals that are coming on that are going to shake your patience and your sincere hope in humanity to the core.
Kyle?
The virus guy is one that doesn't believe in viruses. There's a group of individuals that believe that a secret order went around and hid dinosaur bones a long time ago in order to confuse us and make us think that the Earth is older than it is. Christians Against Dinosaurs is the name.
That makes sense.
Oh, I've heard of these people, Kyle. No need to explain anymore. I know exactly who these people are, Christians Against Dinosaurs. There's this one woman from Christians Against Dinosaurs who basically told you, rebuild an entire Brachiosaurus from a thing of plaster and a bunch of rocks.
Yep.
Oh, I saw that video. Was that the one that she breaks
apart?
apart?
That means dinosaur bones.
Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
It's about to get deep, so you'll miss flat Earth by the time we're done. I promise.
Is she the one coming on? Is that lady the one that did the video?
No, and it's in fact it's hard because it seems like I'm talking to about 3 different people, but on the one Facebook account, there'll be somebody that
can I read that one?
There'll be somebody that comes in and goes, hey, I saw that you were looking for somebody to come talk to, and I'll say, yeah, what days do you have available? And then somebody else will pop in, still looking for somebody to come talk about. So I'm very confused, but I'm still trying to figure it out. But we will get it figured out, I promise.
Can I read that one?
Yes, please.
Insidious Viz, $4.99. Glad Steve could read my super chat this time correctly. Last one was epitome, like epitome.
Yeah.
I know he was deep in
I
a
have a
bag of-
speech impediment. What do you want? Leave me alone. But yeah, I thought I've corrected it during that one, but I guess I've been pointing out that I didn't. Oh well.
I wish
No,
to
you
send a
didn't correct.
message
You didn't
to
correct it
Red.
in the actual. Hang
Yeah,
on.
I thought I did.
You corrected it
I
later.
corrected myself on that because I for some reason thought I did, but I was wrong on that. So.
By the way, guys, if you are a Patreon in here, sometime tonight we will be uploading the behind the scenes clip for people. If you're in the Reverend tier from last night's show, tonight's show will be on tomorrow. But we are going to start posting the before and after we go off air interactions with people. So if you want to see Reds get very dirty, then.
I just had a question privately sent to me.
I also want to say something to Reds.
Go for it.
Reds, this is something I also sent to Jared, the lab master. I, Talon Torres, I, Tornado Pelt, as an esteemed member of the jury, have reached a verdict. Due to Team Yahawashi's failure to stick to the agreed upon format, and due to the fact that not only is there evidence based on every single logical fallacy in the fucking book, but is also able to be proven wrong from multiple angles, my verdict is in favor of the globe model.
How much cocaine have you done tonight, sir?
I would have said it was a mistrial for the
Too
beginning.
much.
This is the same problem we had with Jeranism. In fact, Sean and I were kind of talking during the Jeranism talk. Remember back when, and I even told him he's already forfeited this, and I think Sean, you obviously agreed with that. And I think this is the same type of thing that they forfeited this when they didn't bring what they said they were going to bring. And again, I don't think they understand what we mean when we're asking for a model. They talked about stellarium, they talked about other things, but as Reds and Sean completely pointed out over and over again, what they're suggesting doesn't have explanatory power because it doesn't explain observations we see, nor does it have predictive ability. And I was going to ask either Sean or Reds, and one of them said they were going to pretend to be Awake Souls or the other guy, because unfortunately they're not here to join us, and we're getting background noise. So if you're not speaking, can you mute for a second? So one of you guys can actually try to answer from their perspective. But here's my question: when they bring up something like simulation theory, they don't mean like simulation theory as when other people talk about simulation theory, right? But they mean that God has this weird thing where He's created this universe for us in a type of monistic idealism sense, where we're living in either the mind of God or this creation of a simulated reality. And the question I have on that is, one, how does that really explain anything at all as far as what actually would reality be? I mean, if this isn't not a simulation, they still need to come with a model of a flat Earth that explains what we see. Even if God made this a simulation, there still needs to be something that shows, okay, this is the shape of the Earth, this is the relationship to the sun, this is how gravity works. They need to incorporate all these things into that model, just like a realistic physics model, like Kerbal Space Program or something. So how do they think, or how do you think that they think just positing simulation gets them out of having to explain by using a model? It doesn't do shit.
I have an answer.
Hang on, I'm asking. Hang on, Scorpion. I want to specifically asking Sean or Reds on this one because they said they're going to try to answer.
As I pointed out in the actual debate, whenever they ran into something that they couldn't have an answer for, or something they didn't like seeing from the evidence that I presented, it all boiled down to, well, it's just because it's a simulation. It's their get out of bullshit free card.
But that's not an answer for anything. I mean, that basically, if they're saying simulation, they're saying that anything can change anytime. They're saying that this is like God can change the parameters of the laws of physics anytime He wants to. So there's no uniform nature. Therefore, there is no predictive model. They've destroyed their own model by saying that, because a model must predict.
Yes.
I don't. Here's the thing. If there is a God, I do not believe in contradictory models, which means that this God, if He does exist, should not be contradictory. And if I also remember correctly, they go to the Bible, and in the Bible it says that God does not lie. Well, showing one thing to one person and another thing to another person kind of doesn't go along with consistency. It goes with contradictions. And if you have the power to manufacture contradictions, that to me is a form of dishonesty. So if we're gonna look at it like that, and their model has no consistency, do contradictory entities exist? I don't think so.
Yeah, I actually, I mean, I agree there should be no contradictions, but God lying, that's actually, I think they can make a case the Bible is okay with that. I mean, God can deceive at least, because He sends strong deception. So if they want to posit a God that can deceive for the greater good, but again, I don't think a deceptive type being like that could be all good. You know,
my thing is that if they're trying to present the Lord's good work, they did a shitty job. And if I was God looking down upon them, I would be fucking weeping.
Have you seen most of God's PR crew?
Yeah,
they all need to be fired. And I mean, they all suck.
Not too good.
Sorry.
Well,
unfortunately,
unless you're Snyguard or General Han Solo or a handful of smidgens of other Christians I know, like
God is down saying, okay, look, dude, look, you two, right there. I'm looking at you guys. You guys are presenting a contradictory model, and that is not my creation. You over there, yes, evolution is a thing. I'm kind of badass that way. And you, why the fuck did you spend $100 million on a boat that doesn't float?
And you, why can't you be more like G-Man?
Oh fuck! Said nobody ever.
Nobody's ever inspired to be like him.
I had a private message with a question and a statement. This person asks, "You guys get wrecked? Awake Souls is live saying they are ecstatic at their slaying."
Yeah, to all 36 people.
We knew they were going to say that, right? I mean, they declared that they were going to claim victory after the show.
If they really thought they had a victory, they would have came in here and let us actually have a more open, free-for-all discussion, because I got questions for them that, I'm sorry, they did not answer, could not answer.
What will we do with the 3 dozen people that are over there talking so much shit about us?
Well, 3 dozen includes 3 dozen that don't agree with them. They're just going, what the fuck are these people saying? They're delusional.
Right.
Let them dream.
Let them dream. Let them have their fun. It's okay.
I went to law school, and I don't even know if I would call it a mistrial, because you guys agreed to, argue why you didn't run over that pedestrian, and they come in and say, okay, we did not kill the prostitute because of this, and then
they weren't even arguing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Brent, can you walk us through what you were thinking when you thought they're going to present a model and then they went into this movie? Did you like cook yourself dinner? Did you fap at a medium pace? What was going on behind the scenes there?
Was it medium pace or nice and slow? We like to know the details on these things.
We need to be sponsored by like a lube company, I feel.
Was it like one of the lazy debate roulette wheels?
Astroglide presents NonSequitur.
Yeah, exactly. We can make a killing. Astroglide, round Earth.
But how does it stick?
I actually can't believe they actually threw that into the mix. Well, you still have to explain how water sticks to a spinning globe kind of thing. I mean, they still can't understand the difference between flat and level, which how many times now? I mean,
so here's the gauntlet now. Rez and Sean cleared through Jeranism, they cleared through Awake Souls and the Limitless channel. So the search is on for who's next.
Mark Sargent.
Bring me your crazy, you're disheartened, you're jaded.
But Kyle,
come unto me, all ye that are crazy, and I will give you reds.
How about this? How about this, Sean? Would you agree? How about this? Let's get Mark Sargent, Orphan Red, and
Brother Ernest.
Brother Ernest, really?
We've had Brothers Ernest on, but those are the three names we haven't gotten yet, and two of them have told us they're going to come on.
Mark Sargent is not going to come on here.
No, but Orphan Red said she would, and also Mark Sargent said he would.
But I would like everybody to go to Twitter to NonSec Show, and I have written 2 open letters to Eric Dubé.
Well, why would he bother? He's living the high life in Thailand off suckers.
Well, I do it because every day I get people in the comment section saying, Eric
Kyle,
Dubé can't be beaten.
They can't find you because every time they move, the sun moves. All the luminaries move around because they moved and they looked.
I got to correct you on something, Steve. Eric didn't go to Thailand because of his subscribers. He actually went to Thailand because he won a lawsuit for a vaccine issue that he had.
Dave, somebody's mic is sound like
David. Come on, dude.
David, come on, mute. But yeah, so he's still living off quite a bit of money revenue going his wake of this flat Earth stuff.
Yeah, but that's not how he got the money to go to Thailand and actually be able to get where he's at now. He got that money from the U.S.
I sit corrected.
Well, however he got there, he needs to come back and
Kyle, when are we doing Flatline again? When is that coming back?
I've got to schedule that back in.
Limitless will now and Awake.
The reason I haven't so far is because literally every week there's at least one thing that's flat Earth, and I don't want to oversaturate it. And I do need to reschedule though. That was something that worked out really well, and I think it was something that could catch on. We've just got to. And plus, we're booked until
mid-August, end of August, so we're gonna have to fit it in.
Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and lock it down on the date.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
As far as your simulation theory thing goes, what was your question you asked? Because I'd like to answer it.
Oh, basically, how to simulate, and again, their simulation theory is not when people talk about simulation theory. Their thing is completely bizarre and it's much more like monistic idealism. But how does positing simulation theory get you out of anything? Because it doesn't explain anything. Because then even if you posit a God that programmed it this way, let's say it is like a computer program. One, why did he make so many mistakes? Because it doesn't work for observations. And two, why did he do it? It doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain why he made it. If he's God, why does it have to be a simulation? Why can't he just say, "Here's the reality"?
Here's my
it's a presupposition.
Error 404 explanation not found.
Yeah, I don't think there is an explanation because they're positing something as just an added assumption that doesn't need to be there.
And that's the joke. Error 404 explanation not found.
Man, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You know what? I think that they're honest as far as they believe this shit. I think they found each other and there was two crazy people.
No way.
No, I think they do believe. Unless I have evidence that people are lying, I'm going to give them people the benefit of the doubt. I think.
Did you not watch the thing that I just watched? That's evidence right there.
I think they're just stupid.
But no, that's.
They might be deceptive. They might be, and granted, it's completely possible, but they still need to come with something to answer these questions of why do we observe certain things. And when Reg Sean says, okay, this is our observation, how would this work on a flat Earth model? I'm sorry, I didn't hear once hear them say how this would work. They had something with a ship going over horizon. But I don't even see how that would even play into a flat Earth narrative. What they were trying to say.
I can't explain flat Earth anywhere near as well as I'd like, and even if I could, I still would say, but I know that's wrong because this is how things actually work here, and this is how they work on a sphere.
Yeah, like somebody just messaged me. They said that's not God, it's a crappy programmer, and I'm like, yeah, that's. I mean, and again, what is God running this simulation on exactly? An IBM mainframe, Deep Blue, Watson? What the fuck is going on?
Windows 95.
It's probably like Windows Vista.
Like Windows malfunctioning.
It's just bizarre to me.
It's a 10-year-old on an overnight.
There's a reason why no one can bring a model. There's a reason why person after person after person claims that they have one, comes to it, and it's an old script now. Every time you expect somebody to bring a model, what they do is they instead attack the globe Earth. They want to try to point out what they think is wrong with the model that we have now, because they don't have anything to present, because nothing that they could possibly come up with would ever even come close to answering all of the things that we have answered now. So it's a sham.
If I were to say I have a model for the flat Earth, I would say my model is error 404, model not found.
That makes just as much sense as what the past 2 weeks that we've been brought from the bigger flat earthers on here.
Well, again, I think they
error 404.
We get it.
Right.
We get it. I think what happened is, they heard this, what the simulation theory is kind of. They don't know what the actual theory is, and so they latched onto that and said, "Hey, I think we can run with this." It's like let's try to pull some shit out of our ass to make sense. Oh,
how'd that work?
Not
didn't
just
work out well
simulation,
for them.
a God simulation, because a God is not powerful enough to it not being a single simulation. It's a cop out and a presupposition to say, if it doesn't make sense, oh, it's a simulation.
Steve, what do you say you and I make a wager with the greater public out there?
What is that?
You feeling confident?
Depends what the wager is.
If you can bring us a model that works, Steve and I will retire from this show.
Sure.
There you go. There's the challenge. If you
flat
earthers
that explains all observations and makes predictions.
If you flat earthers want us out of here bad enough, then put your money where your mouth is. Steve and I will retire from NonSequitur if you can bring us a flat Earth model that works.
Just for clarity for people like Awake Souls and
Reg
the
will too.
channel.
Sure.
A map alone is not a model.
Yeah,
especially if you're bringing a map projection.
Yeah, they did present the map as a model, and that's not really how it works. But Reg, are you on the bet too? Will you relinquish yourself?
Well, what was the bet?
If a flat earther can present a flat Earth model that actually works, that demonstrates all possible observations and makes correct predictions, we're going to end NonSequitur, and you have to end your channel.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
jump on that too.
I'll also do one better. I'll even purchase a shitty iPhone.
Dude, that's like crazy, man. Fuck you.
You, Reds, I'm sorry, but they wouldn't let you get an iPhone.
Yeah, you guys noticed the rendering is off here, so that's God fucking with me right here.
No.
No, it's because you're living in the simulation and it's bugging out.
That's
also,
hilarious.
I found another problem with the flat Earth that is so monumentally huge that no flat earther ever accounts for it. The fact is, if something like shaped like the flat Earth would have the mass to pull everything down at a uniform rate, that means that the flat Earth would have to have a mass of, well, Earth, or it would have to be accelerating upwards at a constant 9.8 meters per second per second. The issue with that, the first one, is that eventually all the water on the flat Earth would push up into a dome on the North Pole if we're going with the standard AE model, thus moving the center of gravity out of the flat Earth's center of mass, and thus breaking the flat Earth like a frickin', well, cookie.
Just FYI, we're frozen on the outside feed, Dave. They can hear us, but we keep freezing for some reason.
I'm not even high enough to comprehend what you were just saying.
Basically, I'm saying that the flat Earth in a standard issue where it's just the flat Earth itself would, with a mass sufficient to produce gravity, would basically...
There's breathing in
Blue, can you mute?
No.
Can I present, please? Because I have...
No, well, actually, it doesn't really matter for this layout, does it?
Nah, you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so where's the present button?
Yeah,
Where's-
basically there's a model out there. No, it's not even a model, but there's a suggestion that the reason we feel gravity is the Earth is actually has something to do with mass. Is this Earth is actually accelerating in the direction of up, whatever the hell that is, at 9.8 meters per second squared. The problem with that is that we would already been traveling faster than the speed of light a long time ago. So
there's
Yeah,
also
I actually calculated that out on Stars or Souls channel.
how long does it take to get to reach the speed of light?
Well, let's see. If you go with the young Earth theory, back in 2015, when I actually presented these numbers to Stars or Souls before you blocked me, for a young Earth, 6,000 years old, we were going like 7 million times the speed of light.
Sounds
as of that day. If you went with the 4.5 billion year old Earth, it was an ungodly number of times the speed of light.
Oh God.
By the way, this is the actual flat Earth thing that I have right here. All that blue you're seeing is ocean. So what you would see is ocean surging throughout here. Yeah, basically the most ungodly tsunami you've ever seen.
Man, where did you get NASA's planetary picture software?
That's UN, isn't it?
No, that's
isn't that the UN map?
Yeah, but that's the same program that NASA uses to get pictures of the planet. This is high tech stuff.
This is FEMA's plan to wipe out people for population control.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And then once you have
due to global warming.
Yep, this is definitely top grade CGI.
Well, I'm
That's really racist.
Oh, you can't destroy a governmental owned and issued map like that. What are you crazy?
We can't be racist. We have a Hispanic in here.
I'm struggling to figure out what's happening right
One
now.
of the good ones.
Well, basically, once the gravity of
I love you, man.
flat Earth pushes that huge mass of water into the North Pole area, you basically have a huge bunch of dry.
Is this the ice? Is this the ice wall now?
No, this is the.
No, it's a sand cloud from the. It's a sand cloud from the Sahara.
Now this is a realistic. This is actually a real image from like L1, right? Is this like?
Yeah, and
cover
then
satellite?
what happens is you start having an issue where the flat Earth literally starts to break because, well,
Because it looks fake to me, but that probably means it's real, right?
basically the flat Earth just entirely crumbles, like so. It just.
And I will be back in 1 second.
For a while there, that flat Earth map.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. Well, that is a very frightening and yeah, I'm not sure what I just saw there.
Yeah, basically,
It looks like a single boob.
It
looks like it looks like cookies and those Cookie Crisp cereal.
Yeah,
What is it,
basically the
Jamie? What is this Jimmy Jam?
Oh, this is Mr. Atheist and I running for president in 2020.
You know that we
Now,
already have two candidates coming on here.
I do, and I figured if they could make it on, we can too.
Now,
Now, I gotta clarify for everybody. This is not Jimmy's Jam. That's an entirely different thing. Entirely.
Oh, I see what you did there. Very nice.
Now, as far as
What
the
are your
other
campaign
scenario,
issues though? That's what I want to know.
Which one?
What are our campaign issues? He's
Yeah.
dumb as fuck. That's one of our issues.
Yep. Like and subscribe.
Now, Sean, you mentioned the Earth constantly You mentioned the flat Earth constantly accelerating upward, which means it would need some form of thrust, which means that the mass.
I like thrust.
Yeah, which means that the gravity of the thing would not only be much bigger than the Earth, since you're carrying all that rocket fuel, but then the flat Earth and all the rocket fuel would basically become a pressurized vessel, which would
It's not rocket fuel torpedo. It's a turtle underneath of us.
No, I'm talking about the accelerating.
What happened is the turtle farted and it just kind of blew the Earth into that direction.
But there are actually elephants that are on top of the turtle shell holding the.
No, I'm talking about the thrust I'm talking about 9.8 meters per second of upward acceleration provided by. It would have to be gigantoid rockets, which would turn the entire Earth, the entire flat Earth, into a pressurized bomb.
It's a simulation. They don't care about physics. Why worry about that?
I care about physics because it
Stop fracking or you hit the turtle
Can
shell.
I stop you guys for a second? Because no one said to me when I agreed to do this after show that there would be numbers involved. I already stressed myself out enough dealing with the flat earthers to have to come here and listen to numbers and math. It's
Hey, Kyle.
It's beyond painful.
Hey, Kyle. 42.
69.
All it takes is for the flat Earth given from the North Pole towards the edge. Underside to be inverse square parabola. That's all it takes.
BRB.
Hey, Kyle, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. Would have been third grade.
What is it?
Suffice to say, the flat Earth would just crumble.
So did anybody actually watch the Awake Soul little after show that they were doing? I mean, you said there were like 18 people watching, 30, whatever people. I mean, did any of them watch and come over here to kind of?
Well,
I'm kind of curious.
I hate myself enough to watch the non-sex show, but not enough to watch their after show. So,
all right, so you have some standards, not much, but some.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
some.
Yeah.
So.
Now they were nice.
They were nice.
So,
No, they were nice. And I got to tell you, high production value. They really put some thought into this. I mean, even though they're only marginally smarter than Jeranism, their production value was impressive. So I'll give them that.
I think that they've been treated roughly enough already tonight. I don't think we should make it any worse, Steve.
Yeah,
they like it rough though.
I was gonna basically make a comment about how
I've got to wash both of my hands all the way to the elbow from the ass rape we gave them. So just saying.
But I don't understand how they think they actually did well. I mean, I'm replaying the whole conversation in my head. And I'm at what point did they think that they made any kind of valid argumentation?
I have a thought on that.
Also, waka 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 waka.
Oh, by the way, yeah, we got something.
It was.
We might play something if David wants to.
I think it helped that Godless Engineer took out some talking points. I seriously think that was a bad idea because as soon as you say, okay, you cannot talk about this, and this, and this, to a conspiracy theorist, it sounds like you're honing in on their strongest points, and you say you cannot talk about that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But here's the thing. Look at when you have a debate on a topic, and the topic, and again, I hate using the word debate. People know I use discussion a lot because flat Earth is not debatable. It's not debatable. The Earth is not flat. But if they're going to have that as a topic, right, going down these rabbit holes, things like simulation theory, evolution, Big Bang cosmology, abiogenesis, all that stuff from the onset needs to be put the kibosh on it because it's not relevant to the conversation. And even though they can posit simulation theory, fine, that's not their model, though. I mean, simulation is not a model. So I think GE was correct to say, you know what, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much. I think he allowed them just enough rope like an actual judge would do. And then after that, he said, no more. So
I'm gonna.
I agree, but it adds fuel so they can use that clip in later streams or whatever to say, oh, look at them. It's
good because we need more episodes later on down the road.
To make out Steve as a Confederate general / lizard person / mole people / Morlocks / Illuminatus.
I'm not a lizard person. I don't.
To that point, I gotta tell you guys did a wonderful job just owning it. I mean, Delisle, the deceive, the platform. I mean, that was beautiful. This episode.
Sometimes, Jamie, you just have to look deep inside yourself and realize who you are and what you are. And Steve and I did that. And Lyle and deceive are that's just who we are. People are going to have to get used to the fact that we lie about stupid conspiracies.
We're trying to convince you that this shit's true, man.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So, I mean, the sooner that people get over it and just accept that, the better. I mean, we're not going anywhere and we're not changing.
And Jamie, I like a little bit of math too, so I'm going to be like convincing people that 1 + 1 = 2, believe it or not.
Well, okay. And Kyle, I got to say, looking deep inside yourself is very important. A lot of people use X-ray machines. I think you use telescopes.
Oh, I see what you did there too. Jamie, can I borrow your voting cards real quick?
Dave, is there the video that I sent you? Can we just play like that one part where it goes from one side to the other? Like, I don't know, 10 seconds here to play like the whole thing. Can you find that? Is that possible?
One side to the other, Steve?
Yeah, you know where it just like goes from one side to the other kind of thing? Because that's what it is.
I'm not
waka,
sure.
waka, waka.
I'm not
need
sure
a
I can
timestamp?
get it.
You've missed a couple super chats, Steve.
All right. Well, you can play the video while we look at the super chats here.
Oh,
demonetized.
It's my video. It's Pac-Man's son.
Okay, so now that this has happened, we need to have a talk.
I want to see this.
David and I have noticed some bizarre behavior here lately, and we weren't going to bring it up, but since Steve did, we're concerned because well, this is just not Steve.
This is great.
I'll let you be the judge, America.
Yeah, you guys be the judge. Pac-Man's up. This is their model, right? I was doing this during the debate. So, by the way, I had a lot of this set up before, so that's why I was able
Do you guys remember when Steve used to say those brilliant things like,
wait, I used to say something
objective morality and P divided by Q?
No, I'm making Pac-Man games.
And now he's staring at Pac-Man going, waka, waka, waka. This is what Flat Earth
He plays well. I mean, he was there when it was invented, so you
This
kind of have to.
is Flat Earth model, man. It just goes waka, waka, waka. Look at it. Here goes out the other side. There you go. Sunrise, sunset, right there.
I'm seriously, I'm worried, Steve, right now.
This is not CGI. This is real video.
Yeah, Steve, if this was real video, though, it wouldn't go waka waka waka. It would go yum 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 yum.
That's also proof that ghosts exist.
There you go. Evidence. Photographic evidence of ghosts.
Okay.
And they're multicultural. They're different colors. How do you like that?
I better insist.
I didn't think colors existed.
So thanks for joining us in this after show, ladies and gentlemen. This has been did he die?
Let me refresh the super chats here because we got some come in.
Pac-Man, son.
Yeah, you can stop it. Okay, so we got some more super chats. Please send me the link. I'm getting it from the circle jerk. No, what does this mean? I'm getting ill from the circle jerk. Oh, that's it. Send me the link. I'm getting ill from the circle jerk. Thank you.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, there you go. Wait, he did it actually twice.
No, I know.
Brandon, did you get the link? If not, this messes me. Insidious, positive of flat Earth fuckery. In 2 years, I've actually learned more about science and physics from Reds and Sean, plus NonSequitur, than 12 years of primary, three of uni. Big props, guys. Well, thank you.
Who's cooking?
I'm looking at the chat, and I'm looking at the straw poll, and the current total of votes is 121, with a whopping 94.21% of all votes. Reds plus Sean was clearly the most favored answer.
Yeah, it wasn't 97%, which is three standard deviations. So
actually, it's 122 at this point. But still,
right, so here we go. Last one. Hang on.
What am I watching? What am I watching, real quick, though?
One more super chat. Let me get out of the way. Hey guys, here's your weekly Shillbucks payment. Love NASA. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, NASA. Who's cooking? Like, what am I watching right now that I can't?
Oh, that's good. I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh, it's a local cooking show.
Conclusion. Yeah.
By the way, hi, House Soy.
Yeah. So basically, what they're doing is, in order to get the conclusion you want, you're just adding shit to it to make it whatever.
You know, this reminds me of the.
But you're not getting a fresh sample. You're just keep tasting from the same damn spoon, even though you're adding seasoning to it.
As a chef, though, I was watching her going, how much is she going to season that dish that she's making? This reminds me of what happened to me the other day. Now, Dave will.
You're not familiar with Mexican food.
Before Steve ever and me and Steve ever come in, so sometimes he'll have his screen up, and so we're looking at Dave's screen, right? So we're going through some things and looking at the layout or whatever, and I have this like wall of notifications to my right. So I'm over here and I'm just clicking away, nothing's going away, and I'm getting concerned. I'm like, my computer's getting ready to freeze right now. I mean, these notifications are not leaving, and I cannot figure out why. I was trying to close Dave's notifications off on his screen.
And I've done the same thing. People like Photoshop something and they put like the like on it, right? So like on Facebook, you're clicking the like on it, but it's actually their photo, and you're like, why the fuck this isn't working?
Whoa, what is this?
That's House Soy is a brilliant thing that he made for Reds.
Shillbucks.
Oh,
this is
cool.
them shipping them, or NASA trying to ship Reds his payment, which it never goes anywhere.
By the
Right.
way, I never understood this one thing. Basically, every single time I get called by a shill for NASA, you know what I say? I say, if I'm a shill for NASA, then where's my fucking check?
Another question similar to that.
You just muted yourself.
Okay, yeah. If NASA is hiding all of that, why didn't the Soviet Union expose it in 40-something years?
Because they're in on the deal. Russia doesn't exist. They're just part of the NASA.
Right.
Ethos. Yeah.
Guys, come on, wake up.
damn, man.
Huh.
You think there's like Russian silos and shit out there too? And
you think
like,
Vladimir Putin's real?
Nuclear power is not a real thing. Ask Eric Dubai.
I bet you think the Putin's a real thing too, right?
The Tsar Bomba was a really powerful flashlight. Get real.
Well, guys, I'm gonna interrupt here.
Flashlight, yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt here because I am like way past my normal bedtime because I work crappy hours. Thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to absolutely demolish somebody I've been waiting 2 years to get a hold of.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You now hold the record. Congratulations.
Nice job freaking ass raping him. And this time you held them down to the floor, gave them a thing of lead and told them, bite down. This is gonna fucking hurt.
You may need to go out and
you need to get out more.
Yeah,
actually, you need to go out.
Get some aggression.
You need to
get a hobby, Tornado. Not this
Tornado.
Yes.
Buy something that's actually made for that use instead of using bacon and a flashlight.
Sean and Reds currently hold the record for live views on the show. So congratulations.
I'm tempted to screen share a certain purple oblong thing in motion with a certain Brit, but I'm not sure how welcome that is on this channel.
What is it?
No, please.
Is it gonna get us a strike?
We don't need to see any
it shouldn't.
No. If you go, it shouldn't. Don't do it.
Okay. Don't do it.
Hey, by the way, Sean, are you ever planning on going on to the Anthony Rokeley show?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the Nathan Hoaxley show.
No. There's no point. Whenever Anthony or anybody else on his panel starts to get backed into a corner, Nathan will not shut up, and he will actively mute people or boot them to protect his crew.
I want to go on there and just rickroll them, just for the lols.
But on that note, guys, I'm going to head to bed. Thank you again for having me. Thank you, Sean.
By the way, thank you, Sean. You did great.
Nice job, Sean.
And by the way, this is one of the reasons why I have angst and existential crisis, because somebody had messaged me or in the live chat saying that they have a physicist that can come on and talk about stuff. And I said, great, message, us at NSS, go on Twitter or whatever. And they asked me, are you part of the Non-Sex Show, Steve McRae? Okay. Whatever.
Now,
Kyle,
thank you,
Steve, and Dave. That's pretty well, and occasionally KC, but that's the Non-Sequitur Show.
I want to move into a different.
I don't exist.
Subject.
I'm going to fade out black.
Jamie, can you kind of give us an overview about what you're going to be talking about on the 22nd?
Oh yeah. So we had gotten in that discussion at an after show before a few weeks ago, right, Steve? We were talking about First Amendment auditors, and I was just making the comment that regardless of the fact that the word rights are used in the Constitution, they can mean one of three different things.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of the show is to clarify some common misconceptions that especially Americans have about the Constitution. The idea that it should only be understood by the simplest of the simple is just a total fallacy. And just to kind of hopefully inspire people to want to look up more about it and learn more about American history, and also to completely humiliate and destroy sovereign citizens / libertarian ideals.
Yeah, we need more of them to come in, though. They're kind of skittish.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
What is a sovereign citizen?
We'll get there.
I heard that term this week.
Hold on one second, guys. I need to ask Jamie. I need to ask Jamie because this is important. You don't like libertarians, right, Jamie?
The idea of that form of government, it just fails miserably every single time.
Okay.
It's what form of government?
Listen, a libertarian, Jamie. You have to whatever you're doing next Friday at 8. You have to clear it.
Next Friday at 8.
Right. We have literally the libertarian who is running for president 2020. Big name, Adam Kokesh.
Oh yeah, right.
By the way, the time we have on the schedule, you have is midnight, so you might want to change that.
Oh yeah, well I did that. Sometimes I like to, just fuck with people to see if they'll actually show up on midnight. But yeah, I think that if you're free right now, we don't have him talking to anybody. He was just gonna, kind of come on and have a conversation. But I think that would be really cool to have you two talking.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, let me see what I can do. That's August 3rd, right?
Right.
Okay. Let me see what I can do. But yeah, the short version of this is, number one, if the country used to have a libertarian philosophy back when we had Articles of Confederation and we had what is referred to as layer cake government. Before we became federalism, we had federalism instilled through the Constitution. And if you look at the preamble of the Constitution, it says a more perfect union. We did these things to create a more perfect union. So I say to people all the time, it's like the founding fathers knew that what they had just wasn't good enough. It wasn't going to meet the needs of the people. And then at the end of the preamble, it says to ourselves and our posterity. And the second thing I'll say is there was a very famous person in American history who tried to create libertarian government, big libertarian, and that was Rockefeller. And that shit on us like crazy. I mean, we had I mean, this is how you get into the Allentown incidents and people trying to figure out, how to minimize deaths in factories and all this kind of stuff.
Well,
The reality is, when humans are left to their own devices, they don't do what's best for the overall good. There has to be.
Are you saying that's one of those things that's more idealistic than realistic?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I gotta tell you, I like some of the
How
libertarian.
do you pay for stuff if you call taxes theft? That's the one thing on his platform that I have the biggest issue with, because how are you going to pay for stuff if you don't tax people?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but again, this whole thing goes back to the whole taxation without representation and what the government can tax and what they can't tax. And don't the sovereign citizens kind of think that they can't levy taxes at all?
They don't think. They don't.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. Let's just leave it at that. You're right. I couldn't.
Adam's one of his things are that it's he calls it theft. You don't even have to go as far as sovereign citizens to get that.
It always sounds good when we're talking about our wallets. I mean, obviously, everybody would like to have a bigger chunk of change, but the reality is Americans are not taxed anywhere near as high as many other countries. I mean, live in Italy or Greece and tell me how you like taxation.
How are you going to pay for shit? That's my if you don't tax people, how are you going to pay for it?
I do agree that taxation needs to be appropriate. I mean, you can't have these pork spending governments where they're just completely irresponsible. We need to have fiscal responsibility. Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have any at the moment.
Agreed.
It's not that we don't have any. It's that we can do better. That's the point.
How about this? I mean, would you agree, Jamie? One of the things that I think that we should never have had in the first place, but they definitely need to give. Come in. That's the hooker I ordered. But the writers, right? When you earmark things for writers, and you have these things that have nothing to do with the actual bill, but get attached to it just because it has something to do with the constituents that they're getting some votes out of it. They're getting something from it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, why has that still not been? I mean, maybe there might be a need for some of it. I'm going to grant that premise.
Mexico got rid of that. Sorry,
but there has to be reform.
Because the people making the laws.
I'm not against reform. I'm not advocating that as things are completely perfect. What I'm against is the libertarians thinking they have some new ideal, but then bandwagoning in on the conservatives and going, hey, we can't get any of our own clout, so can we jump in with you guys so that we're at least visible somehow? I mean, I have a problem with that. I also have a problem, regardless of how you feel about parties, I do not think the answer is providing more division in the country. Hey, if you don't, here's 17 political parties for you to be a part of. Either do 2 or 0. I mean, you can't keep dividing people up even more and try to get any kind of consensus.
Well, that's what I said before. I'm okay with the 2-party system. People are like, oh, well, why do you want more than that? I'm like, because like you said, it's rough to divide.
We can get shit done now with 2.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. You can't get stuff done with 2.
You throw 3 or 4 in there, and it's going to be nothing's going to get done. I mean,
I don't want to monopolize. This was supposed to be about the discussion with Flat Earth. I know you guys, it's a non sequitur, so you flow. I don't want to take over though and make it all about what I'm talking about. Unless
Jamie, we went from talking about dicks and
and Jose is building the wall for us, so we moved on.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you for saying that. We appreciate that. No, and we'll take a check.
I obviously could talk about this forever.
Why do you have a picture of Riley?
Me too.
That? Why?
Well,
The-
and
the
I
thing
feel
about-
like
the
we're
thing
going
about
like crazier. It's not getting any better. It's getting the thing with Trump is one of the most fascinating things to watch, because everybody, I think, sees the wrong that's happening and the missteps and, close to the brink that we get. Yet I still feel like he will get elected again.
Real quick, Jose, are you
that
making
makes
a
sense.
video, or are you making a presentation of some kind or something along the lines for the structure of the Mexican government? You said something along those lines I found on Twitter or something. Was that the case?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
Something you were talking to me about the way the Hispanic government, the Mexican government is. Are they having elections or something?
We had an election 3 weeks ago.
Is it worse
Did
there
you
than
win?
it is here?
Did
I
you
mean,
win?
obviously you're not there, but
It depends on the metric, but okay. I can comment on a few things you said about, well, not you, all of you said about the tax system and all of that, because for example, people bring up, oh, no taxation representation, but the whole reason why the framers were a thing is that the founders were not enough of a thing. Like you said, the Articles of Confederation and all that. And if you ever read Joseph Ellis, he brings up that he almost calls it a coup, where Hamilton, Jay, Washington, Marshall, and company pretty much stage a coup in the Confederation to bring about the Philadelphia Convention, and because the tax system was shitty at best, and anyway, with the Mexican system it's a free for all.
Can we agree though that Hamilton
Smash Brothers
did a
versus
coup
Mortal
on
Kombat, and that's what you get.
on that musical stage though? By the way, Jamie.
So can I just interject and say that if we actually elected political parties in 8-player Smash, no items, I think that would actually be a much more fair system than
That
the
is true.
Electoral College.
That's true. But Jamie, how was Hamilton?
In the Star Fox ship.
Yes,
Damn it, I missed that. I missed that. Say that. I heard the Hamilton was amazing. Kyle, I'm going to take you. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to.
Oh, yes.
Plutonically. Yeah, I don't expect anything in return.
Of course, I would. Trust me, I would be so enthralled. I know the whole thing by heart already.
Yeah,
I know that's sad, but I want to go to Hamilton so badly.
Yeah, but they're touring, so they might hit North Carolina.
Are they really?
Yeah, there's this tour starting up in October through April of 2018. They're hitting most of the Northeast, and then after that, they're supposed to go south.
The original cast?
No, it's not going to be.
My cousin had the chance to see the original cast before they were on Broadway, when tickets were like $10.
Mm-hmm. Did they go?
And
10 bucks. What are they, like 400 now or something?
No. They're not 400. I think that it's the kind of price that you write in a napkin and slip across the table.
it's like can you take a second mortgage?
That's actually accurate. But let me get back to my question. I want to see if somebody can answer it for me. Why are we watching this train wreck and going, we can vote him in again?
Because someone brought up the U.S. Constitution. Oh no, the flat Earth thing. Okay, sorry.
No, I'm asking, like, we're watching Trump misstep and make all of these decisions that we know are bad and that we know are not the way that should be. Yeah,
because generally speaking,
not enough idiots are stepping up.
Okay, you guys can all talk at once. Cyrus, go.
Okay, because no matter how bad a system gets, and we've seen this even when Bush's ratings were at his lowest, people generally prefer the evil they know to the evil they don't know.
I would buy that if it wasn't Trump. This is a different kind of.
But it's no different. It is no different.
It's really different. If it was Kasich or Romney or any of them, a lot of people would be fine with it, and I wouldn't even know about it in another country.
I would say that it's only different with Trump because it's a matter of degrees. It's worse with Trump, but it's the same problem. You have to remember if you want to say that, that's fine, but you have to remember that we had Bush target an entire religion and send people into a different country completely in a whole new war.
Yeah.
I say it's no different. It's just
that's one thing out of his. That's you might be able to point to 4 things that Bush did that were really horrible. You're getting them every single day with this guy, every single day, and he's only halfway through his presidency.
I mean, to be fair, I will grant you one thing: Bush did not yell at other countries in all caps while on the toilet.
Bush didn't sit in.
Because social media wasn't a thing. Social media is a big factor on this.
And by the way, Bush didn't almost bring us to the brink of nuclear war. Do you realize?
Well.
I think every president has come close in some ways.
Every president in some capacity, and you have to remember the thing with Bush is that even though we know now in the current age that we were not close to nuclear war, the rhetoric we were fed when we went in 2001, and this is coming from people who had family in a lot of those operations actually, but the rhetoric we were fed was that we were on the brink of nuclear war and we were going to another country in order to prevent it. So in hindsight, we can say that no, it's different because this one has brought us into nuclear war. But if you ask somebody living in that exact time period, they would say, well, we're close to nuclear war too, and here's why, even though we know in hindsight that that's not necessarily what ended up happening.
Was Bush horrible? Yes, he was. He absolutely was. I didn't like him as too much as a president, but I also didn't question like if he didn't think what he was doing was the right thing. You know, I think on some level he thought that what he was doing was the right thing, be it from his faith or whatever. I didn't feel any kind of he's up to something that is nefarious and he doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, but I see that with this one. I see that he's capable of doing stuff underhandedly behind people's back, cutting through the red tape, going around channels to get out of something that he may be into. And I think everybody feels that way. I mean, look at the way that Putin is, him and Putin situation. Obviously, the guy's got something over.
I mean, how much of a factor would, or do you think reverse psychology plays in though? Like, when dealing with social media news and such, there's a narrative that has been spun, right? That a lot of people buy into, the whole fake news thing, which obviously has some merit if you like it, especially from some of the American news.
Well, like we know for a fact that a lot of the news in America is not great, but the repeated drilling in of Trump when he says fake news repeatedly, it makes you distrust all news outlets.
What I'm questioning though is like how much of since Kyle's saying like you're essentially having a fear that he might get reelected. The question is, how much of a factor do you think something like reverse psychology can have? Like if he's being labeled as super bad for long enough, how many people will start to think that this is obviously just a bullshit narrative that's being pushed, so we got to keep them instead?
I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people are they're disenfranchised. People are.
You know what? Like, from my perspective,
they're just jaded.
But Kyle, how are we going to even know what the chances of Trump being elected are if we don't know who's going to be running against him yet? I mean, until we know that, you can't even make a really qualified judgment.
I think you can, because you can look at his polling numbers based on. You can. Let me explain.
Approval ratings are in the toilet.
Right? No, not nearly where they should be. Hold on. Let me explain why.
Sorry, was talking
to do the things that this guy has done. Right? You would expect him to be. I mean, people were taking bets on him being impeached already.
Right.
I mean, from the get-go.
He's not going to be impeached at all.
So, right. Exactly.
Nobody has the numbers.
Exactly. Now,
Nikki Haley is going to challenge him for the nomination.
Take a base, like alt-right base that are entrenched in, this is their guy. They're not gonna waver. This is the guy, the Make America Great Again guy. And you've got a climate where the other side is going even more so to the left. So these people are saying, you know what? We're coming out in droves again. And that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be that the other side is going to put somebody up that's going to be horrible. They're going to vote in protest of going to that extreme, like the left has a tendency to do.
Now, I will say this. There is something about when you mention the chances of Trump being impeached. I personally don't want Trump impeached, but there's a reason why. So there's a bit of a trend. And we saw this with Nixon when Nixon was impeached. There's so many terrible things that Trump has done that we have, either thoughts of or proof of, and people want to see him put to justice for a lot of those things. However, when that happened with Nixon got a full pardon as soon as he was impeached because his vice president got the presidency de facto. And that's pretty much what happens, is that whenever you swap presidents into the vice, they immediately will pardon the other president. They'll use one of their pardons for it. That's one of the reasons I don't want to see Trump impeached. It's not that I don't think he should be. It's that I think if people want to see Trump punished, him being impeached will automatically mean that cannot happen.
He's not going to get punished.
May I say something?
Sure.
Okay. I completely agree with you because I think Pence is in on it. So if Trump is out, Pence pardons him. If you remove Pence before Trump, Ryan steps in, and Paul Ryan, being a good laptop Siberian Husky, also pardons him, both of them. So I agree with you.
I think
he'll pardon himself.
Anything, yeah, he can't be impeached. One, because he shouldn't. Two, because they don't have the numbers. And three, he needs to be ousted out of office. He needs to be voted out. Like,
yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, even if he gets, I even say, even if he gets impeached, he's not going to be removed.
He needs to be voted out. He needs to be voted out.
He's not going to resign. He's not the type of person that's going to resign because Fox News is just going to tell him, "Don't resign. They're in on you."
Hang on. I mean, Ivanka just gave up her entire enterprise, her entire collection of clothing line and jewelry, everything under Ivanka's name. She just relinquished control then and said that she's ending the business because of Trump. So
wink.
Weird things are happening right now because I mean, who does that? I mean,
I don't think
there's something wrong when she does that. So to say that he might not, I don't know, because somebody has some dirt on somebody.
He's not going to get impeached. He's not going to get impeached, and he's not going to be punished. He's going to he may have done something, yes, but he will strike a deal. The most humiliating thing that can happen to him, and the best justice that you're going to get, is to go out and vote in November, and that's the way to get him out, and the way to humiliation is the worst thing for this guy.
You know what they have over him, Kyle? I figured out what they have over him, Kyle.
What?
They found out Trump's dirty little secret is he watches NonSequitur Show.
If he watched the show, I would.
He'll never recover from that. So
if he watched the show, I would no longer do this show.
But the tweet from this week is a huge red flag because usually he just like posts shit so people will fall for it, and CNN will spend 3 days covering it. But the one where he said that I hope Russia doesn't interfere on behalf of the Democrats, blah 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 blah. That's a huge deal because he's. Not him because he's a fucking moron, but the people talking to him, the Stephen Millers, the Sarah, Jiminy Billy Bob Huckleberry Sanders, and the rest of them are saying, okay, the Democrats might win, and if they win, dismiss it as a Russia hoax. And Russia and Vladimir Putin will happily playing along with it and saying, okay, you know what? There are rogue elements in the U.S. that, rogue elements in Russia that interfere in the U.S. So blah blah blah. So Trump will have to will expect to interfere in the midterms because the Trumpancies expect him to.
But Jose,
all he wants to, but we have a system set up to where he will be removed if he loses.
But the reality is, can anybody now not with a straight face say that? There was no Russian involvement. Of course, there was Russian involvement. The amount of it is questionable.
Yeah,
but there was Russian involvement. I don't think anybody on the planet at this point can say, "Oh, the Russians literally had nothing to do with our election." But they didn't. But how much of it is, if it is to the point where there was some type of collusion, some kind of I hate to use the word treason, but even complicit.
Of course, there was collusion.
I have to make.
Hang on, let me finish. Torpedo. So if there was collusion, if there was complicit, they were complicit in it. If there was some type of a deal made, whatever it was, Jose, what does it have to rise to? Or Jeremy could answer this as well, to be a level of standard to which it reaches that of treason, because treason is normally for wartime situations more than anything, giving aid and comfort, giving intel to the enemy, things of that nature. We're not at war with Russia, so certain things are not going to be covered under treason with relationships with them because we're not in a war type status. So
when everybody around you is getting indicted and locked up and going to jail,
but what would it take for the president? That's the key thing.
I think knowing to what extent some things were messed with, and not either reporting that or acting on that makes you culpable.
In some degrees, I don't argue that. Culpability is even if you're complicit, I think there's culpability there. But I think he was acting. I don't think Trump was a passive party to anything.
That is true. If he did that and he knows that and he didn't act on that, that's treason. Flat out.
By the way, I am ashamed of every single one of you because none of you made Alan Dershowitz feel welcome in Martha's Vineyard. So that's on your be it on your heads.
The thing is though, if here's where we made our first mistake. We let a guy come in who was a reality star on NBC, just created an entire mess claiming that the current president was not born in this country, drag that out for 5 years, and then reward that man with the presidency himself. And I think that was the first shameful down the bad rabbit hole that we've made. I don't think he's going to get impeached. I don't think that he's going to get necessarily in any kind of trouble. I think that if they get too close, if anything, he'll resign, and that'll be the last that you hear of him, unless he decides to come back and do The Apprentice again. But
The Apprentice presidential.
He is doing The Apprentice right now, by the way. He for the first 3 months he was doing The Apprentice. Okay, you know what? Rice Breeder is out. Okay, you know what? Sean Spicer, blah 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 blah. He was doing The Apprentice. Now he's doing The Dictator.
Look at his body language from this past summit, right? When he came out and he said, Vladimir Putin offered to talk to these people on our side and their side, and I think that was a gracious offer that he would do that, right? That caused a shitstorm. So to walk it back, he came out and said, I meant to say, why wouldn't he do that? As in, why wouldn't he be meddling in our elections? But he originally said, why would he meddle in our elections?
That's why you have the meme floating around right now where that's not what he said. And even if that is what he said, he meant this. And even if that's not what he meant, it's this.
He's pushing in a direction based on where the crowd goes. Now, where you see him be as honest is the first interaction after something happens. After you're getting him fresh after an event happens and he comments, that's what he really is. It's after he goes back and he has people say, oh, listen, you're in it now. You said you literally wanted Russia to interrogate people on our side, and you said that was gracious of him to offer. And so he has to walk that back. But the tape is right there. And the crazy thing is, people buy it. Fox News spins the story like it's unbelievable. Like we didn't just see him say it.
Okay, like I said, you've said
Now,
before too. Can you imagine?
guys, I did have a comment. You did tell me to let you finish. And when I said that this country, that the world is closer than it's ever been to nuclear war, I kind of made a mistake there. I meant that it's as close as it's been to nuclear war as it has been since 1953. Now, who all knows what 1953 was? Who all knows what happened in 1953?
Didn't we actually have the
missile crisis?
Was it the Korea thing or the Taiwan thing?
No, it was the testing of the first ever H-bomb. And they said in 1953, the people who run the doomsday clock said in 1953, and I quote, only a few more swings of the pendulum, and from Moscow to Chicago, atomic explosions will strike midnight for Western civilization.
I don't think that we're in danger of nuclear war per se. I think that pretty much it's accepted that people like living, and every other country knows the potential of every other country if something were to go off on their.
Yeah, it doesn't benefit.
Do you happen to know how close we are to midnight?
2 minutes, but again, what I have to agree with Kyle on this. Look at even dictators know they don't have a country if they use nuclear weapons. They'll no longer be a dictator, and they'll do anything to stay in power. Now, hang on, Tornado, wait.
Yes, he does.
The only thing I can say is, look at if you have a despot which is clinically, mentally insane, such as along the lines of Kim Jong-il or any one of the despots out there, most of them have some kind of crazy. If they reach a point where they say, look it, I need to usher in the second coming of whatever fucking thing they want to usher in, then they might launch, right? Or they might say, you know what, I'm falling out of power, fucking let the world burn. Those are hypothetical situations that can happen. But at the same time, they don't want to die.
Right. So you have to also consider that if you are in a leadership position of any kind, and you want to gain more, typically when you're doing missile strikes like that, you're either trying to suppress or gain. That's one of your two things you want. You cannot gain what you utterly annihilate.
Yeah, and the dictators don't want to die. I mean, they're cowards, right? So I mean, they're narcissists. They like, I'm too good to die or anything like that. They're not the ones out there leading the what do they call them?
Although they have a bad habit of doing it.
Jihads, right? They're not ones who go out there doing the suicidal bombers. You never find a dictator being a suicidal bomber, right?
They have a bad habit of dying, that's for sure. Gaddafi,
but they do everything to prevent. Yeah, but they're the most paranoid motherfuckers on the planet. Do you know how much protection they actually have in order so that they don't die?
well, think about it. I mean, let me ask you a question. Would we have been better off if Saddam Hussein wasn't?
I don't think it would have made. I don't think it would have made much of a difference. I mean, he was a horrible person to say the least.
He was absolutely, but
I'm glad he was removed. But he wasn't the worst of the worst.
But he kept that group out of.
He did. He ruled with an iron fist, and so therefore it probably a lot of lives probably were saved by the way he ruled. But he still was a piece of shit.
Oh sure, yeah, he was
He
awful.
wasn't the worst because Kim Il Sung and Kim Jong Il were still alive while Saddam was reigning. So
yeah,
like he because that parent-child regime held 20 million people hostage. So
Nobody wants to go to war now. I don't think. I mean, that's not something that I worry about what that man is doing to our democracy in terms of the process. Like it's far more damaging than the military situation is right now, because I don't think that's really on the table.
Far be it from having another foreign national telling you what to do. But I would tell the Democrats not to run an impeachment.
Yeah,
That's
well,
bad fucking
I'm
idea.
agreeing with you. I think it would be bad for the country, and I wouldn't get us anywhere. Again,
I mean, find a way to bring the Constitution into it. So, like, find a way to. You can't say limited government because then you won't bring anybody new into it. Like, oh, they want to limit government. So, find a way to make it about the Constitution without making it about regulation.
And don't let Trump essentially turn it into a victim narrative, because he will.
That's his one redeemable trait in the way that none of us want him to have it. But so
we had the perfect candidate. We had Bernie. We had Bernie, and
he was good, and he probably would have beaten Trump. But I don't know if he would beat Trump in 2020. But I think he would have beaten him in 2020.
I don't think he would either now. But
there's only one man that will beat Trump, I think, in 2020, and that's Joe Biden. I think if Joe Biden were to run, he would wipe the floor with Trump, because Republicans like Joe Biden and Democrats love Joe Biden.
I would go Joe Rogan.
Joe Biden might bring the bar fight into it, and he might win. But I don't know. Like you need a wide field. You need.
I can tell you who can win.
You need Elizabeth Warren. You need Kamala Harris. You need Joe Biden. You need.
Not Joe Biden.
Joe Biden would win in a heartbeat.
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan could beat Trump.
No, I don't think Joe Rogan could beat.
As a libertarian or as an independent?
I don't give a shit as long as he runs. That'd be awesome. Joe.
That'd be fucking cool, actually.
That'd be fucking cool, man. Yeah.
There's rumors that I heard a rumor that Michelle might run.
Yeah, well, I've heard that as well.
About Aaron Rock.
She should run for the Senate.
Aaron Rock couldn't even run for Senate. So,
yeah,
it's expensive. He doesn't have the backing. So
Michelle Obama should run for Senate.
Well, state Senate there was running for.
I would love to have Michelle up there.
I have a problem with people who have the same last name as previous presidents running.
That's a good point. I don't want a monarchy. I don't want.
What a lame.
I don't want this
lame reason.
No. I think
it's a very good reason.
Not at all.
Get ready for Eric Trump in 2030.
It actually makes a lot of sense though, because the thing is that the United States is supposed to be built on at least the premise that anybody can.
2020.
Anybody can.
We've achieved that this past election. Anybody can literally be president.
Yes, we have, but the thing is that you want to keep that. You can't have it and then 100 years down the line lose it and say, well, we had it when Trump did it. You can't do that. You have to maintain it. And one of the main things about maintaining it is not having multiple back-to-back presidencies, or at least presidencies that are very close to one another where the same last names are there, because then that makes us look a lot more like your standard monarchies. And think we already
look like that. If they're the right person for the job, then
but they weren't. They weren't, Kyle. They weren't.
How many of them
I firmly disagree.
They weren't. The Bushes.
The pool is much bigger. You have one job. The pool is pretty big, right? I mean,
the rules. The Bushes.
One family? No.
The Bushes were not necessarily the right people for the job.
Yeah,
they had one president in between them, and then if you want to sit there and say Clinton Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were the right people for the job. Bill Clinton might have been. Hillary, I don't think is. She's got too much baggage, whether it's real or not.
Oh, yes.
Compared to what we have now, we just have to agree to disagree with that. I don't think last name should make a difference if they're the right person for the job, and if they get voted in again, then obviously
if they're voted, if they're running under the wrong premise too, that's another thing.
They are the right person for the job. I don't think that.
Hillary's whole shtick was she was a woman. That was it.
Yeah, well, I mean, she had. I mean, I didn't like Hillary too much either. I was a Bernie fan, but Hillary had good platforms, and it was the emails that just put everybody thought she was entitled because she's a woman. That put a bad taste in their mouth, and so they voted against somebody that was sensible. Would you have liked her? No. Was she the nicest person in the world? No. But would have gotten in, not caused a huge crazy mess like we have now, and then gotten out? Probably, most likely, and we wouldn't be in some of the situations that we are right now. So. We vote against the candidates more often than I think we vote for some candidates.
Yeah, I think that says a whole lot about which ones end up getting through the primaries, though.
Yeah,
because 9 times out of 10,
I would have voted against Trump rather than saying voted for Hillary, because I did not like Trump. That man rubbed me the wrong way from day one.
I think that man rubbed.
I think he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
He rubbed most people the wrong way, but then they ended up saying.
Well, I just didn't want him to rub me.
He rubbed Stormy the right way, though.
He was mostly a grabber, guys, not a rubber.
Not that right. I mean, by the way she talks about it.
Well, he's definitely not a rubber because there's no protection from Trump.
I was really upset that Al Franken got tied up in that. That.
The sacrificial lamb.
Okay. But I think Al Franken would have been a fantastic.
I hate to interrupt.
That's why Roger Stone took him out.
Hate to interrupt, but 6 minutes ago, Steve posted a message in the side.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. Dave's not. I just realized that I don't think Kyle gets the internal message. That's why. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not paying attention.
Lack of sleep is one of my triggers, and I do need to go.
All right, so. I'll say my piece. By the way, guys, I love the discussion that they had on that Rhetoric and Sean in that video. We'll put the link to that video in this video description so people can watch that first, and then the after show or whatever, either or. But
and we might start another one here in just a minute.
I have a closing word for everyone out there,
and keep this conversation going. So if you want to join,
closing words.
Go ahead.
My closing words are: Red's Rhetoric and Sean Hufford win. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Okay. Who else would like to say? Jamie?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that Reds and Sean, I thought you did a great job. It's even regardless of how stupid the argument was coming towards you, you still maintained credibility and kept your fan base happy and content. And I know I was going to ask for a 404 forbidden joke before I leave, because I know people in the chat wanted that. But yeah, Reds, I didn't want to distract too much. I know the discussion got good there with the political stuff, but you're doing a wonderful job. Like I said, you're one of the biggest reasons why I started watching this side of YouTube. It used to just be stupid college humor and Key and Peele videos. But I crossed over because people around me were saying that that the flat Earth might be real. So
I'm sorry that I have shattered your faith in humanity. That was definitely not my intention.
I didn't realize Reg was still in here. He'd been quiet this entire time.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It was a booty call. Anyway, so with that, I do want to say I'm going to name my P900 or P1000 actually after you, just so you know.
Yeah, I heard something about that when I was trying to walk out. So what was it going to be called?
We have a label maker, okay?
Okay.
And on the side of this absolutely monstrous lens, it's going to be known as the Jammy Cam.
Sounds like a bad porn site.
I don't know if you saw, but when you guys were going back and forth about whose stream you were going to put on whose stream, and somebody was saying don't cross the streams and all that, I go, oh, this reminds me of a Japanese porno I watched last night where they did a Ghostbusters parody.
Oddly enough, I have actually seen one of those. I didn't know if you're joking, but I'm not.
You have or
right now?
I have. But yeah, we're gonna close out real quick, guys. I think I might start another one here in about 15 if you want to join, just message me. But
by the way,
I also want to thank everybody for helping me. I mean, hosting me. This was my first successful live stream, and well, like I told Steve a few weeks ago, I would be happy to defend as a Mexican national that the United States was not founded as a Christian nation. I think I'm well enough prepared to do that. So if you find interlocutor that does argue that it was founded as a Christian nation, I think I'd be up for that.
I'm pretty sure we can find somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's easy.
Also, as the person who is actually in the debate, let me go ahead and say this because I got a few things. So the thing that I wanted to mention was that I had told Steve way before the show happened, and Steve can back this up, that I do not believe for a fucking second. In fact, I am predicting that they are not going to bring a model that comports with reality. And I think, Steve, I was correct on that, right?
Actually, what he told me was, I'm really scared of them. I know they're going to bring the truth, and I don't think that people are going to believe my bullshit, Steve. What do I do?
That sounds more accurate.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate. We're going to go with that narrative, okay, Reds? But no, everything Reds
I was about to say, that sounds like every time that happens.
You know, and I told him, I said, and honestly, and I was a little bit in error here. I mean, I honestly thought there was a high probability that motto was going to go like this, Reds. I have this book that says this.
Yeah, of course. But my holy book was going to be their argument.
That's what I thought they were going to go with. So I was pleasantly surprised.
But the Matrix is just
the way you're there.
Yeah, the Matrix. But
Matrix is one step removed from my holy book. So.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a dramatic
Neo.
Okay, let's be realistic here. But
well, of course.
But
the thing that I want to say was that when they said that, hey, we are presenting this to the jury, and they said the jury was the audience, well, the audience has spoken. The audience has definitely sided with the model that can make predictions and not the model that has a bunch of contradictions in it. The one that can only make sense if you believe we are in the fucking Matrix. So if they are going to go ahead and say that we are presenting it to you, the jury, and the jury has spoken and has said that they fucking sucked, and then they decide to go ahead and make a live stream saying that, oh, we won everything and stuff like that, then not only are they ignoring the jury, but they're ignoring reality. So I guess they're going to say that the jury is a side effect of the fucking Matrix again, which in that case, go fuck themselves.
Reg, you've heard of jury nullification, right? This is reality nullification.
Yeah, reality
nullification. You might want to take a look at the poll, by the way, Red, because the current total votes stands at 123, with Awake, Souls, and Limitless coming in at a very, very shoddy 6.5%, with only 8 of the votes. Reds, you have won by a frickin' landslide.
Congrats, Reds. You run the internet. Now go home.
Yeah, I went
you need to go run a couple
And by the way, for those
you demonstrated the Earth is round for the billionth fucking time that we're all aware of. Great job.
Yeah, and also I just want to make sure people are aware that landslide happened because gravity is a thing, you fucks.
Also because Apple is the greatest goddamn phone on the planet. Good night, everyone.
Kyle,